Hello my beautiful friends, and welcome back to the channel, and a warm welcome to everyone who is new here. I'm sitting down with you today with a story to tell because I've been trying to put into words the importance of the work that we do in our group coaching program, Dear Darling. Why this work is so important, in particular for the women that I work with who are already successful by society standards. They already have ticked all those boxes that a lot of us are striving for and that we expect will create success and probably more to the point fulfillment in our lives. And so it can seem like, well, what could possibly be the problem? What could I want or need to change? Don't I just need to be grateful for what I've got? Or don't I just need to get to the next level, maybe just work a bit harder, achieve that next thing, or just set my sights on the next project or next level? And I think we have that all wrong. I think perhaps that is the case for a lot of people, that is what makes them happy. But certainly with my experience with my clients and with myself, we need a change in strategy to really take ourselves to that next level. And to have a change in strategy, we need to be aware of where we're starting. We need to be aware of what in our life is creating the results that we want and what's not creating the results that we want. And included in results is the experience that we want. And what I think we really do with Dear Darling ultimately is create freedom. That's what I believe I can offer my clients, and what I've seen, how I've seen my clients transform by learning these mind management tools and by taking on these new empowered concepts, these new structures and strategies to make decisions in their life and to show up in their life. I create more freedom for them. And it's freedom from the resistance, the worry, the rigid rules, the fears. And it's ultimately the freedom to be ourselves, which sounds very simple and perhaps even easy to do, effortless to do, right? To just be yourself. But in a world that wants us to be normal, and in particular in a world that wants women to be nice, convenient, obedient, easy, excellent but humble, to do it all, to follow ourselves, to even hear ourselves and see ourselves is quite a daring thing to do, hence the name Dear Darling. It is a daring thing to show up as yourself. And I want to tell you guys about this anecdote from last week. And I'm working in Victoria in the hospitals at the moment, and I was driving to my favourite town at the moment, which is Daylesford. I was driving along and I got about halfway there and I caught sight in my rear vision mirror that there was a police car driving beside me. And I kind of perked up. I was like, police car, right? Check. Am I doing everything right? And I was like, okay, I'm good. Just focus, keep focusing, keep driving. Well, you're doing good. Don't change anything, but don't drift your attention off. Make sure that you're paying attention so that you can not accidentally do anything wrong. And so I noticed I was kind of driving along and I kept kind of checking back in my rear view vision mirror. Speedometer, rear view vision, road. Speedometer, rear view vision, road. That was the cycle that my attention was going through over and over. My body was kind of tight and rigid. And I just kept checking, are they still behind me? And sort of 20 minutes or so passed and they were still behind me. And then I got the awareness that I was watching the clock and watching the rear view vision mirror and wanting for them to disappear, right? So the scenario is that I've checked and I know and I'm confident that I'm not doing anything wrong, but still I'm holding this tension. I'm holding this increased vigilance with the police behind me. This worry that it might be that actually I'm doing something wrong and I don't notice, or that I will do something wrong any moment now. And with that concern, I had that vigilance and the tension, and it was with me that whole time. And the moment I noticed and I teamed that up with those thoughts, recognizing that I was worried I was doing something wrong, but at the same time, I actually knew that I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was doing everything right. I had nothing to hide. I just let out the biggest laugh as I realized what I was doing, because all of that tension, all of that worry, all of that extra vigilance, it certainly wasn't making me be a better driver. If anything, it was making me be a worse driver. You know, like when somebody's like, don't act weird, and they're like, how do I not act weird? Or even more relatable, I don't know about you guys, but when I have somebody in the car who's been critical of my driving before, I'm a worse driver because I don't let my subconscious mind do all the natural things that I'd usually do that make me a good driver. You know, I practice driving with my subconscious mind on board, managing the gears, and my conscious mind just grabs, you know, the speedometer and the moving cars on the road around me, the sort of new novel stuff. But I let my subconscious mind do all the other little typical things. But when I am hypervigilant and I put an odd amount, an unpracticed amount of awareness on these different things, it actually makes me more unsafe. It actually makes me more likely to do something wrong. It takes me out of my practiced safety, my practiced efficiency with driving. Why am I telling you this story? Well, I realized in that moment how easy it is for us to not recognize that level of hypervigilance that happens with us, that level of tension, of anxiety, stress, and fear that can sit with us for 20 minutes in the car without me even realizing that I was stressed or acting differently, right? Not consciously. I was just in the story, going throughout the story, doing the things because I thought that I was genuinely under threat, that I needed to keep checking these things and making sure I was doing the right thing. It's so easy for us to not recognize. It was so easy for me to believe that I needed to be hyper vigilant in that moment, to believe that I was at risk in that moment. And I wasn't able to recognize for a whole 20 minutes that actually in my integrity, I wanted to change my behavior. And this is a way that a lot of us live our lives in general, especially the successful driven women that I have the privilege of working with, for a couple of reasons, right? The first reason being that we have often gotten really, really good at suppressing our emotions, at switching off our awareness to our emotions on purpose, at hitting that override button because we think if we ignore them that they'll go away or they won't cause us any problems. Meanwhile, in the background, we're spending energy on this distress and we're spending energy trying to suppress it as well. But so many of us are so well practiced at ignoring ourselves, ignoring our nervous system state, ignoring our mindset and emotional state, our physiology, our internal experience, that we'd never pick up on something so subtle. Enduring discomfort is not something that my clients struggle with. That is not a deficit that they have. They are experts in that area. But like with the police car scenario, they suffer consequences of that. And the second reason why I think this is so common in those successful, brilliant women that I get to work with is because so many of us have learned that what's most important is to do the right thing, not do the wrong thing, and to meet these expectations. Whether those expectations are coming from us or from external society, we have these ideas that we carry around without even really recognizing of the expectations that we need to meet to be good enough. These expectations are so important to us because if we meet these expectations, then we can say that we are valuable. We can feel and reassure ourselves that we are valuable in this world. That's what a lot of our minds have learned. And the importance of doing the right thing is also such a common driving force for us too. And the problem here is the right thing, or being a good person here, is often not something that we've defined ourselves. It's often something that we've absorbed implicitly by osmosis from society. It's not our definition of doing the right thing. It's not necessarily aligned with our integrity. Common ideas of doing the right thing are being nice, normal, conforming, being convenient, obedient, not rocking the boat, not taking up space. And we use this, whether we're meeting this doing the right thing standard, as a measure for whether we're a good person, as a measure for whether we can expect that we will have acceptance and approval in our life and connection and all those important human things. So between these two ideas that we need to do the right thing, we can't do the wrong thing, that police car behind us is watching, we need to meet the expectations that make us good enough. It's not uncommon for us to feel like we constantly need to be highly vigilant to meet these standards. And because of that, a lot of us walk around with this tension, with this anxiety, with this fear that we don't even realize. How many of us fall into this trap? Well, the most common regret of the dying is, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself rather than one that others expected of me. The second most common regret, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. So this is not uncommon. You're not alone. This is extremely common. And you'll find in our group coaching space that there are a lot of people doing the most beautiful work to break free of this waste of energy and this cloud that sits over us and limits us. And they're choosing a life of freedom instead. Freedom to drive and sing and think and daydreaming while being a good person, being in their integrity at the same time, sparing the right amount for you of energy and attention for the road, for keeping you safe, because we all know that you can sing and drive. It uses different parts of your brains, doesn't it, my beautiful friends? So my question for you today is, do you recognize this phenomenon in your life? And what I ask for you for the rest of the day or for tomorrow, give yourself a dedicated window of time to check in with yourself, with your mind and your body, and notice, are you under extra tension? Are you feeling limited? Are you feeling like you're being hypervigilant? Have you got that little edge of anxiety or fear with you? And most importantly, do you want to change that? Because what we do in Dare Darling is we teach you to create safety from yourself. Instead of your safety being relying on those two things, doing the right thing by other people's standards and meeting these expectations, these preset, unquestioned expectations that other people hold for you or that supposedly make you good enough. We free you from those being your standard for safety or knowing that once you meet them, you're safe. And we help you create your own sense of safety so that you can be yourself in the world from that place of safety, and you can live the life that you want. Have the courage to live the life that you want. To dare, darling. Because in a world that offers you all these rules and expectations, my beautiful friend, it is a daring thing to decide to put them to the side or even just hold them lightly, and instead choose to let yourself drive. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all, and I hope to see you and connect with you in Dare Darling.